Diamond. The very word conjures up strong human emotions. Long associated with beauty and mystery, diamonds have survived an incredible journey, transcending the forces of nature and of time itself. From the earliest civilizations, diamonds have been prized possessions, worn by people as potent symbols of love, devotion, pride, wealth, and power. Their magic and mystery continues to burn in our imagination today. While the world remains captivated by this extraordinary stone, there is another diamond story that needs to be shared. This is the story of Botswana, a story of good fortune, chance, and opportunity. It's also a tale of strong leadership and how this all contributed to transform a country from one of the poorest to one of the wealthiest in a single lifetime. Botswana is a relatively young country, having attained its independence from Britain on the 30th of September, 1966.
The flag is unfurled amidst much enthusiasm from Botswana of all ages. The future looks good for this new land under Sasaritsi Khama, who is to be the first president. Good luck, Botswana. Our best wishes go with you.
Prior to this, and before the discovery of diamonds, few people knew about this British protectorate called Bechuanaland. Landlocked and covering an area of 600,000 square kilometers, the country was largely dependent on subsistence agriculture. Prior to independence, the future looked uncertain.
The future of the country looked very bleak before the discovery of diamonds. It was so bleak that some people asked whether we were brave or foolish to want to be independent, because we are merely removing a burden from the back of the British taxpayer.
With a new flag, symbolic of a new nation, Botswana was now free to plot her own course. The joy of a nation, however, would not be enough to secure the future of Botswana. Few would have even imagined just how prosperous their country would become. In the years since independence, the country, with a population of just 1.7 million, has seen unprecedented growth. Its capital, Gaborone, the administrative center of Botswana, has developed into a vibrant city, while most other villages have grown into towns with solid infrastructure. As a country, Botswana is certainly a land of contrasts. From the dry desert sands of the Kalahari to the pocket-like oasis known as the Okavango Delta. Its rich diversity and heritage, as well as its reputation as one of the stable democracies in Africa, has further enhanced its prominence as a safe tourist destination. Many countries have been blessed with mineral resources, but few have shown the financial prudence and corporate governance demonstrated by Botswana's leaders.
We kept the covenant that we had with the tribes when we said when whatever is found will be for the benefit of everybody in the country. And that was well managed, and we were lucky in having good people who ran a good government that anybody could be proud of.
The shiny stones that had mesmerized the local people for centuries led to a concerted interest in exploration in the 50s. In 1967, a small band of geologists without the technology available today, had narrowed their search to the ancient riverbeds northeast of Botswana, near the village of Letlhakan.
We found a pan that had some water in it so that we could wash the samples we took. And lo and behold, I think we had 17 samples, and it was 14 of those had ilmenites and garnets.
It was the 21st of March in 1967. It's a day I'll never forget. When I looked on the ground, I saw these indicator minerals, the pyropes, the red rubies, they're also known as, and the black ilmenites. And I realized then that we had found another pipe. It was when we got back to the camp where I had the aerial photographs, I looked at those, and in the middle of this photograph is a huge feature, and that was the Orapa pipe, which was then measured at 110 hectares, which makes it the second biggest kimberlite pipe in the world.
We couldn't believe our eyes when we saw how many diamonds started pouring out of the kimberlite that we were washing. Decision was made to go ahead and erect a full mining operation there. It was obvious that the pipe was highly economic.
The impact of the Orapa pipe was immediate, and it gave rise to a new settlement, today a bustling town. The way of life for many was about to change. There was, for example, an urgent need to train a skilled mine workforce that would help pave the way for the country's future prosperity.
Ha mine o sena go nna teng batho ba le bantsi ba ba tswang mo dintheng tse di harologaneng mo ba ta go nna mo Letlhakane. Ke eng se se ne se ratisa ke ka lebaka la gore go bone teemane jaanong botshelo bo ka nna botoka a kere bo tokagaletse mongwe le mongwe e se nna ke le nosi.
Once the diamonds were discovered, the situation dramatically changed.
Where once there was little in the way of prosperity, now there existed opportunity and security, not only for those who worked to transform buried rock into valuable gems, but for the entire nation. Botswana was formed on the 23rd of June, 1969, the product of an equal share agreement between De Beers and the government of Botswana, paving the way for a sparkling future.
Which gave us a fair cut from those diamonds. And therefore, the country benefited still.
The biggest thing was the ability to say, these diamonds, although you find them in Mangwatu, they are national resources. They will be used for the benefit of everybody.
If the Orapa discovery was a catalyst to the country's growth, then no one could have foreseen what was to come.
I always studied termites that build these big mounds. You've seen them in the Kalahari, I'm sure. And I developed a theory. The white ants had gone down through all that sand to get water to make their mounds. And when they did that, they brought the garnets and ilmenites to the surface. And we got some jumper drills in, and we went through 40 to 45 meters of Kalahari sand, and we found Jwaneng.
Like Letlhakan, the transition of Jwaneng was felt almost immediately.
What is most visible is the road that passes through Kanye to Jwaneng. Because before Jwaneng was built, it used to take us about 4 to 5 hours from Kanye to Jwaneng. These days it takes us 80 minutes. The second thing that one would speak about is the electricity. We've benefited from the money that accrued from the sale of diamonds.
I actually came here as a small boy. That was 1956. We used to span an ox wagon from Moshopa. The journey used to take 2 days up to here. And then in the mid-60s, there was an improvement where my 2 brothers bought a tractor, and then the journey from Moshopa up to Jwaneng no longer took 2 days, but 1 day. By then, around this place, there was no town, there were no roads, it was only bush.
Turning diamond dreams into lasting reality does not come easy. The costs of bringing a diamond mine on stream are considerable, and this is what has made the Botswana situation so different. Botswana, like Botswana, is in the diamond business for the long term, and the infrastructure, training, and long-term planning for its mines are tangible proof of this. Mining is a lengthy and capital-intensive process. From the moment of the first blast to the haulage, crushing, and sorting of the precious mineral from rock. All Botswana diamonds are sorted in the world's first fully automated recovery and sorthouse plant called the Aquarium. This facility uses sophisticated X-ray and laser technology to sort more than 30 million carats every year, more than any other country in the world. From here, diamonds are then valued at the largest and most technically advanced facility in the world. The Diamond Trading Company Botswana is destined to enhance Botswana's position as a leader in the diamond industry. Diamonds currently account for more than 70% of the country's export earnings. Botswana has recently embarked on an ambitious drive to add value to its diamonds by actively encouraging beneficiation. New diamond cutting and manufacturing companies are creating thousands of training and employment opportunities, bringing in added revenue to the country. Diamonds are a finite resource, but the revenue that diamonds have brought to the country has helped grow burgeoning secondary industries.
A lot of Botswana are now investing in property. Banks are now willing to loan people money to build properties. Investors coming to Botswana are not just looking at renting, they're looking at investing. And part of the reason for that is not only the longevity of the partnership of Botswana government and De Beers, but the fact that our diamonds have been spent on infrastructural development in terms of the social infrastructure of Botswana. The mineral sector and diamonds in particular, and the way that government has spent them, allows people to have the confidence to spend multi-million pulas in buying and building properties because they have confidence in the future. And that's not just the local market, that's the international market.
Prior to the production of full-scale diamond operations, Botswana's main export was beef. Like many industries, the beef industry has benefited from the developments diamonds have brought to the country. Botswana remains a big meat exporter and is currently one of only 2 countries in Africa permitted to supply beef to the European Union.
All the forex that we generated came from the beef industry. But with the advent of diamonds, the diamonds replaced the beef. Beef is now number 3. It's the diamonds and it is tourism, number 2. Number 3 is now beef industry.
One of the main benefits from diamond revenue is that education has become accessible to all. 4 decades ago, many of Botswana's children had little to no hope of benefiting from proper schooling.
I come from the rural areas, from Ikoha, and there was no school in Ikoha when I was growing up. Now there is a school, and I went through the education system. At that time, when I started school, school fees were paid, but at some point, the government abolished school fees.
Thanks to the wealth generated by diamonds, education continues to be of primary focus in the country.
At independence, we had only one government secondary school, but now we have got over 300 secondary schools. These secondary schools had played a catalytic role in the social enlivening of the social aspect of Botswana.
I feel that this generation is blessed in the sense that they have excellent facilities which didn't exist, say, 50 years back. They are very lucky because they have access to the internet, they have access to email, and they can use those as avenues for they can actually empower themselves in a lot of ways.
Our performance in terms of academic standards and our research facilities in the sciences, biological sciences, we are able to afford some of the best research equipment, and many universities are not able to do that. In fact, we have become a resource in sub-Saharan Africa in those areas. We couldn't have achieved this without the diamond revenue that the country has, because from a poorer country that we were in 1966, building a university of this stature would not be possible in 25 years.
In recent years, there has been a stronger focus on building additional tertiary institutions.
Right from the 60s, this country had virtually no tertiary education institutions at all. Up to the 90s, Botswana government was heavily relying on sending students in the United Kingdom, the United States, Australia, Canada, and many other parts of the world. This could not be sustained for too long, and we therefore took a conscious decision that we will set up Baisahu University College so that we reduce the numbers of students going outside the country.
Healthcare is one of the most important considerations of any modern nation. And like many other aspects of life, improvements have been realized in this area too.
At independence, healthcare was mainly provided through mission hospitals and a couple of government hospitals. Compared to that, now since independence, there's been a lot of growth, because government has made a lot of investment in healthcare in general, which means investment in human resource for health development and also infrastructural development. So that now there are at least 600 primary healthcare facilities, which are clinics, health posts, and mobile stops, and 29 larger hospitals called district and primary hospitals, and 3 tertiary hospitals. And these are manned by a wide spectrum of healthcare professionals. And so these are now able to provide a very impressive range of services, from simple immunizations to even quite complex neurosurgical procedures. So I would say there's been a tremendous growth in healthcare in the country.
Many countries in Africa have suffered greatly from the HIV and AIDS pandemic. Botswana is no exception. The diamond revenues have given the government the means to provide free antiretroviral treatment to its citizens. Botswana was the first company in the world to adopt ARV therapy for its employees, receiving international recognition for their contribution.
I must say we have been very fortunate as a country, because right from the beginning we had very good leadership and good governance. But also there were revenues to back that up, and having diamonds has made this a reality. And so the national resources have been used to benefit the majority of the people.
While the earth provides beautiful stones for the benefit of the country's people and the world at large, there is another type of beauty that is easier to find and enjoy. Botswana is blessed with abundant wildlife and majestic African vistas, and these too have benefited from the country's mining operations. Apart from the large tracts of land that the mines have allocated to its game parks, Botswana has developed partnerships with world-renowned wildlife organizations to advance research into endangered species. The Cheetah Conservation Program in Joni is one such example.
I think without a doubt, there has been a tremendously positive impact of diamonds on the Botswana economy. As we know, diamonds are a finite resource. So I think through sound or wise macroeconomic policies, as well as good economic management, the government and others and policymakers were able to make wise use of the resources from the diamonds in order to develop the rest of the country.
Botswana, however, is not content to rest on its laurels. Mineral prospecting continues in the hope of finding other deposits that will benefit future generations. While the sparkling products from the mines reach consumer markets like the USA, Japan, and the rest of the world, the people of Botswana will continue to benefit.
Diamonds have provided a very strong anchor to enable the people and the country and the government to plan and operate a very stable economic country.
Botswana is a special place for me because it's a safe place. We have wonderful, friendly people here and a great president. Without diamonds, I wouldn't be wearing these special things on my ear here. And without diamonds, I wouldn't be here at this very great school here.
If one looks at the way things were in the 70s and the way things are now, I think most of us may have a diamond story. It may not necessarily be a direct one, it could be indirect, but I think there is a story that people can relate to and tell.
That was the most critical decision that was ever made, to say this is a national resource, it is not a tribal resource. And that has made all the difference, because we can boast of schools around the country, everywhere. Secondary schools, senior secondary schools, primary schools, various places. We can boast of vocational training institutions around the country because government used the resources for the benefit of all.
Nothing could be further from the truth to pretend that I ever thought it would become such a big success story. It was beyond my dreams, and I'm sure it was beyond everybody's dream who lived at that time and was realistic.
So hopefully Botswana will give itself that very unique story of being the one country in Africa that has got everything in terms of a liberal exchange rate, good governance. It's had over 40 years of multi-party elections, so therefore it's not a fluke. We're now entering the second generation. In fact, the current president is second generation in a multi-party democracy. So therefore, investors like to look at longevity in terms of their investment and returns.
Overall, when you compare ourselves to other countries, I think we are among the best. We are second to none.
I see the future of Botswana as bright, especially as government is concentrating on trying to diversify the economy. And therefore, the diamonds are going to launch Botswana into a rarefied atmosphere.